Hey everybody, welcome. This is day 13 in Pray 714 as we are asking God to teach us how to pray for our world, our nation, and our communities and our own lives. So thank you for joining me. You know, in the ancient world of the Bible, they had walls that surrounded the cities to protect them from their enemies. And if there ever was a breach in the wall or a gap in the wall, someone would literally have to stand in the gap and protect that place of vulnerability from the enemy getting inside their city. Or even if they were being attacked, people would literally, human bodies would stand in the gap and fight the enemy to not let anybody get through that breach or that gap. And as we're praying for our world, this is the picture. This is what we are spiritually, morally doing. We are standing in the gap. The places where there's a breach in God's church, where we're not being the city on a hill. We are trying to be God's people interceding for our world. Ezekiel 22, verse 30, the Lord gives a prophetic word to the people. They had been drifting from God. And the Lord said, I looked for someone who would rebuild the wall of righteousness for my land. I looked for someone who would stand in the gap, but I found no one. Christ follower, I would ask you to agree with me today that as God searches this earth, that he would find you and he would find I, spending some time in prayer, standing in the gap, rebuilding the wall of righteousness, not our own righteousness, but because of Christ's righteousness, we can intercede as part of God's royal priesthood for this world, our nation, and specifically, let's spend some time today praying for the local church. Pastors, board members are trying to make difficult decisions on navigating when to re-engage in in-person worship. And there's going to be churches that land in different places. There's going to be leaders that land in different places. I just want you to know, don't be judgmental. Don't let your opinion be moral high ground and you assume that somehow you're better than somebody else. No, if you really care about this world, you care about the local church becoming a city on a hill and being an influence in our community, then stand in the gap. Intercede for God's people. Pray for your pastors. Pray for your board members. Pray for the lay leaders within your church. And let's believe God that however he moves and the way he uses different churches at different times, and each church has a unique signature. Pray that God anoints the local church. Come on, somebody. Why? Because we're standing in the gap. We're gap standers, man. We're intercessors. We're learning how to pray for our world, for our communities. We care about the lost, the forgotten, and the broken. Hey, I love you. I'm praying for you. Know this, you're not alone.